Hello, everybody, and let's reassume the wraparound.
Ooh,
No?
no.
Not a fan
No.
favorite? All right.
No, definitely not.
Hello, everybody. Let's reestablish the
No,
wraparound.
that's even worse.
All right.
Martin is straight up today.
Welcome home to the wraparound.
I like that one.
That's a bit better, yeah.
Glad to see you back at the wraparound.
Oh, I like that one. Okay, let's use that one. Glad to
yeah.
see you back.
We hope you had a safe journey coming to the wraparound.
No, okay, we have to get going. Okay, ready?
We're coming in again for the
No.
wraparound.
Be quiet.
The Wraparound with Grace,
Alessia.
and Maryuri.
Well, it's glad to be back with my two amazing co-hosts shooting another episode for you guys this week. First news piece of the week. But yeah, the Capitals re-signed defenseman Trevor Van Riemsdyk to a 2-year, $1.9 million extension. At first, when I was reading it off the score, I thought it said $19 million. And I was like, that can't be right. And then I saw the little decimal place and I was like, yes, that is correct.
Can you imagine paying Trevor Van Riemsdyk like $9 million a year?
That'd be insane. Okay, either way, he signed a 1-year deal worth $800,000 back in October. So, and it makes sense as to why it's a $1.9 million extension. And he was set to become a UFA at the end of the season. He has been seeing 15.07 minutes. Gosh, I can't speak today. He's been seeing 15.07 minutes of ice time and has scored 1 goal in 9 games. So, I mean, he has that 1 goal. My guess is that they probably just wanted to get it over with and, didn't want like any, I guess, contract talks probably within the next couple of weeks, especially with trades coming up and trade deadline. But next little piece of news, and I thought this was nice to include, it's some news pertaining to the New York Islanders and their defenseman Thomas Hickey, who returned onto the ice after nearly 2 years. So he picked up 2 assists in Saturday's game versus the Philadelphia Flyers, and he last played on May 3rd, 2019. So quite a long while ago. Unfortunately, he suffered some injuries, which also included a concussion, and which had him sidelined, and also the death of his brother, his 33-year-old brother, to cancer back in last March. He's happy to be back, and everything he's doing is basically for his brother, and he always carries his brother with him, and it's sweet to see that he's getting back, and he also got those 2 assists, meaning he's obviously hasn't missed a beat. So it's good for the Islanders to have back one of their defensemen, and it's also good to see when people who have suffered through quite a lot get back to doing something they really thoroughly enjoy. And so, amazing story. Good things happen to good people. And so, this is one of them. And then, we're also going to end off with some, I guess, promotion, you can say. So, make sure to tune in on NBCSN and watch the Isabel Cup this week. And support these talented athletes. Stay tuned for our analysis on the games in next week's episode, but I know that Grace has a little bit to say on these matchups.
The thing that sticks out most to me about the broadcast this weekend, though, is that it's actually going to be an all-female broadcast team. So they announced that a couple of days ago, and they're having Kate Scott do play-by-play, and she was actually the first woman to call an NFL game on the radio. So that's also pretty cool. She just keeps making history, and she's won an Emmy winner for her broadcasting. If she's won an Emmy winner, she is an Emmy winner for her broadcasting. The next one is AJ Malesko. She's an NHL analyst for NBC, and she won a gold medal at the 1998 Olympics for Team USA Hockey. So that's also some pretty good talent heading towards this broadcast team. And last but not least is Kaylee Chelios, an analyst and reporter for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And she's appeared on Fox Sports, TSN, and the NHL Network. So definitely some experienced and very wise broadcasters for the broadcast this weekend. And now for some matchups. Toronto and Boston will play at 5 p.m. on Friday, and they'll be closely followed by Minnesota and Connecticut. And then whoever wins those 2 games will play in the final at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So all these times are in Eastern Standard Time. Definitely turn your eye to the NWHL team's Twitter accounts, because the social media folks over there are killing it this year. So if you're looking for some extra supplemental NWHL action, definitely turn your head over to Twitter. And that's all I have for that.
But yeah, awesome news. Especially, I didn't know that about the broadcasting team. So that's really awesome. Come back next week if you want to listen to our take on what happened and to see who's crowned the champion of the Isabel Cup. Now, we're going to move on to our open discussion. I think a couple weeks ago, we spoke about rookies and we spoke about who we thought was probably going to win the Calder. And we also spoke about how Alessia Lafreniere was not the top choice, which is surprising because we were also talking about there have been years where the number one pick is usually not, up in the running for the Calder. But aside from the Calder, we're just going to kind of look back on our rookies, how they've been doing, just catch up with them and see if, there are any kind of new ones that are up for the running for the Calder. So who do you guys have?
I'm still with Kaprizov.
Mm,
I think he's
knew
been
it.
great this season. And the thing is that he actually is 23 years old. So he is a bit older than what you would expect a rookie to be. So Alessia Lafreniere, he is 19 years old, 30 games played. He has 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Kaprizov has had some experience in the KHL, which is probably why his transition to the NHL has been a bit better than most rookies. But nonetheless, 29 games played, 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points. That's pretty outstanding for a rookie.
Those are some good numbers.
Yeah, my pick is actually surprisingly one of my favorite rookies from the season, building off the Washington Capitals love from earlier, is goalie Vitek Vanacek. Because he had some high pressure on him once Henrik Lundqvist went out, so he had to kind of step into that role. And Henrik Lundqvist is on the Washington Capitals.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Vitek Vanacek. He's had 22 games played this season. His goals against average is 2.66, which isn't awesome, but not terrible. And his save percentage is .911. So also not bad.
Solid.
He's won his
Not
last
bad.
3 games, and he had his first career shutout on March 15th against everybody's favorite team, the Buffalo Sabres. And he stopped. I like how I wrote it. He stopped shots. I didn't write a number.
Nice.
Which goalies are supposed to do. Let's
He
make that
stopped
clear.
them shots, which is very surprising for any goalie in the league.
It was 23. I do know the number. I just didn't write it down.
He stopped those 23 shots with some force.
But yeah, anyway, that's my guy this week.
I mean, I feel like there have been a lot of rookie goaltenders the past couple of years, especially this year, that just have been so unbelievably good. And we talk about goalies all the time here. I think it'd be nice to see a goalie win the Calder because we need some variety in here.
And some spice.
Yeah, exactly.
I
But
think
no,
we talk about adding spice once a week.
you say spice very
I
often.
say spice
Something along
too
those
often.
lines.
But yes, good picks. I mean, I feel like I know that Grace. I know that Alessia was talking about her pick I think the last time we spoke about Kaprizov. Is that how you say it?
Some people say Kaprizov, some people say Kaprizov. I think I was watching highlights because I wanted to make sure, and it's Kaprizov.
Kaprizov.
So,
Okay, so yeah. So I'm pretty sure
So I
Alessia
apologize for past episodes.
has been speaking about Kaprizov. But Grace was with a fresh pick, and I'm sure that by the time we kind of get to Calder nominations and stuff like that, or just towards the end of the seasons where we're kind of doing a rookie roundup, I'm sure we'll be talking about other players in there that we haven't spoken about before. But yes, very exciting. So much young talent in the league, and amazing talent. I mean, we all know they're the future of the league, and it's really exciting to watch. We're going to talk about how in the North, it's not really that close anymore. And I feel like a couple episodes ago, we were talking about how there was this massive gap between the Leafs. And I think at the time it was the Edmonton Oilers. Now I think they're tied.
No, at the time it was the Winnipeg Jets.
Was it? But yes, it's not really that close. Like I said, the Leafs.
It is close.
No, it's super close.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I
it's-
meant. Oh my god, my brain.
It's really close in the North. Edmonton is tied with the Leafs for 42 points, and they surpassed Winnipeg, who has 38 points. And this is exciting because now things are actually close, and people aren't looking at the Leafs like they're the biggest thing in the league anymore.
Yeah.
So the hockey is about to get 1,000% more competitive and fun.
Oh yeah. Especially
sure.
if you look at, below third, Montreal is right behind Winnipeg with behind by 1. They're with 37. The Canucks somehow are at 35, which is only 2 points behind Montreal.
What happened in the past week?
And then you have the Flames who are at 33. So it's like insanely close in between third and sixth. And then we have Ottawa who with 23. So I mean,
okay, I forgot that they existed for a minute. I was like,
I
yeah,
mean-
she named them all. Good job, Marjorie.
so that there's no surprise there, unfortunately. But in the other teams, it's insanely close. And like Grace was saying, the Leafs have been playing really poorly. For what reason? We don't know. They have the players. They just always they always just seem to mess themselves up for whatever reason because they get comfortable. Everybody knows the story. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to get upset. But hopefully with Campbell back in net, they can figure their life out since Anderson's out.
This is what I wanted to do.
What?
I wanted to throw this at you and get your opinion. I kind of want you to get upset. Do you think that Frederik Andersen is done with the Leafs?
Oh my gosh, I wanted to ask you guys this too.
I don't know. Okay, so I was hearing, the rumors. My best friend was telling about how she's worried about it. And then at the time, I was like, I don't think they can do it because, at the time, Campbell and Hutchinson, I think, were injured or whatever. I'm like, they can't risk getting a goalie from the States because then he has to quarantine for 2 weeks anyway, right? But now that I'm looking at it, Freddie was playing great at the beginning when he had to play. Campbell was playing great pretty much every game he was playing when he was coming on as backup. But recently Anderson hasn't been that good, and I feel like he's been really off his game. It's like he can't find himself anymore, and obviously he said that he's been dealing with injuries, but I think it's more than that. I think somehow he doesn't fit into the team anymore. I think the team have gotten a little bit better without him. And honestly, if the Leafs traded Anderson, I would be sad because he was a big part in this team in the last few years. He won games that, they probably shouldn't have won. And he was their savior in a lot of situations. And I think the team owes him a lot because he was their last line of defense for many plays. But I think right now, I don't think he fits into the team anymore. And I think if they were to trade him, I think the team would be fine having Jack Campbell as their starter. If they don't trade for another starter, or if they traded him for a forward or for a defenseman, whatever, I think they'd be very okay with Campbell in net.
I also like the point that you bring up because you'll miss Freddie for the personality he brings to the team. Whereas when he started, they needed a goalie they could rely on, and he was that. Whereas now they've built this huge amount of depth in their forwards and even on defense. So they don't really, they're the Leafs. They always need a good goalie. But they don't really need a Frederik Andersen level goalie anymore. And I almost feel like he senses that.
Yeah, it's like they're not as dependent on him anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, players can lie and whatever, but of course anybody would feel special or feel another or an extra sense of duty when you feel like you're really needed because you feel super important and you bring your best foot forward and so on. But once you see that they could kind of be okay without you and you're just basically doing your job and not everybody else's job, then you're kind of like, why am I here? How do I really play my best game? It's not the same anymore. I can't really play like the way I used to because that's not what they need. They need another goalie. They need someone that's like this. And I don't think he knows how to properly situate himself in that kind of position yet. And I don't blame him. The Leafs put a lot of pressure on him the past couple of years. The Leafs, the media, the fans, everybody put in the same pressure on him. I'm like, who are we kidding? Like, whoever is the starting for the Leafs is going to have an insane amount of pressure on them. But yeah, like I said before, it would be sad, and I'm sure a lot of people would be sad, but I think a lot of people are kind of okay with the idea of him leaving, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal if he did. Because if you look at the games that Jack Campbell has started and has played, he's done what he needs to get done to make the saves, to win the game, and that's it. He's not a flashy goaltender. He's not egotistical in any way. He doesn't have a big personality. Everybody knows that he's a really kind person off the ice. He's easy to work with, and he just does whatever the team needs of him. And so, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking too much about it, but that's just kind of my take on that situation.
I mean, moving off of that, I do have a proposal for Kyle Dubas and Kelly McCrimmon. It is a 1-for-1 trade, and it is Frederik Andersen for Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh my God. Don't you ever
you'd
speak those
love
words
that.
again.
Moving on.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I saw this. I don't know if we were talking about on the show, if I was talking about my friend. I saw this ridiculous trade proposal. If you ever think, and if that does happen, that's the last day I'm a Leafs fan. I'm telling you right now.
Oh wow.
As soon as Taylor Hall wears that Leafs blue, we're finished.
I'm not gonna lie, there was a time in my life where I thought it would be nice because Taylor Hall is obviously from the GTA, and I love it when players come back and play for their hometown team. But like in this situation, I'm like I can't. No, I'm like, we don't need any more forwards. I don't think Taylor Hall would fit with this team. And moving on.
Yeah, I obviously had to throw some silliness in with my Andersen and Fleury trade.
Just imagining Marc-Andre Fleury in the Leafs jersey is kind of off-putting to me. It's just so weird. There's some players where you see them with jerseys, and I'm like, it's funny. I'm going to use a soccer reference, but with Messi, he's been playing with Barcelona for so long that if he does eventually leave Barcelona at one point, and I see him wear another jersey, it's just going to be weird.
It's going to be so weird to see Messi in another jersey.
Yeah, because you're just so used to seeing one player wear a certain color. And whenever I think of Marc-Andre Fleury, I just think of Pittsburgh. That's just because he was there for so long. Yeah. So I only ever think of him in that yellow gear. But I don't know. I can't imagine seeing him in that white and blue jersey.
Okay, makes me uncomfortable. We really have to move on from the Leafs. This is too much.
But yes, but besides the Leafs, the Winnipeg Jets have been rolling lately, and so have the Edmonton Oilers. They've been playing really well. They've been making, not a name for themselves, but they've been playing really well. And I feel like at the beginning of the year, we were saying which teams I guess we kind of expected more from, or which teams we thought would be, top contenders for the division title. And Edmonton was obviously one of them, because we know that the Alberta teams have always been pretty good. Not so much the case with Calgary, but it's nice to see that Edmonton's up there again. And I mean, Winnipeg's a good team too. So I mean, I'm not surprised that they finally found their footing, especially after the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. And weirdly enough, but after that trade, they've been slowly getting better and better. And
this is my thing. I think the Edmonton Oilers have finally legitimately proven that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are two of the best players in the league. People said it before, but now there's it's real, because they put those two on a line together and they just skyrocketed to the top.
It's just magic.
They're just it's like they were meant to be together. It's like they're two parts of a whole.
Oh, like all of us. Oh my God. Three
parts of a whole. But yes, they have insane chemistry together.
Just like us.
Stop it. You can't really say anything bad about them. And if you do, you're clearly lying. Come on.
You
can't lie. You have to look at the numbers, and you just have to look at them playing. And it just looks like they have so much fun together. And I think that's what makes it work even better, when you can rely on this other person. You know where they're going to be at all times. You can pass it without even looking, and they'll be there. Of course playing's going to be fun, because they can read your mind. And you just score all the goals, get all the assists, win all the games. I'm happy that Edmonton is at the top, even though they're tied with the Leafs. But I'm glad to see them back at the top because I think everybody just expects them to be at the top, and it's good to see that they didn't have a decline or didn't decline even more than what they were at. But since all these teams have been playing so well, and they want to make a push for the playoffs, teams are going to be looking to add some new pieces to their lineups. So, my question for you guys is, which teams do we think, or do you guys think, will be moving the most pieces around this trade season?
Alessia, let's see if we have the same one. Do you want to go on 3? Okay, 1, 2, 3. The Vancouver
Buffalo.
Canucks.
That's a good one too.
That is a good one. I mean, we already know that they've been claiming literally all the people that the Leafs have been placing on waivers.
This is my thing. Like, they claimed Travis Boyd and Jimmy Vesey, and those like aren't expensive contracts, but they also aren't cheap contracts for like picking guys up from waivers. It's not a cheap thing to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we can see them moving small contracts at the trade deadline.
Exactly.
They aren't going to make like a big blockbuster deal. I hope not. But like moving smaller guys around come the deadline to make some more cap space, grab some new prospects. Like, why not?
I feel the same. I don't think they're going to make like a huge blockbuster trade, but seeing how their season has been going, I can definitely see some kind of minor trades happening. And of course, we've seen them pick up some players off waivers. So,
do you guys think they'll finally not get rid of, but trade Jake Virtanen?
Every time we talk about like trade deadlines and stuff, Virtanen always comes up, and there's always like a lot of speculation, but nothing ever happens. So I don't think they will. Like, he's been a decent player for them, but like I said, every trade deadline, like there's always rumors for Virtanen. So I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so
sorry, I'm just looking up his contract. I want to see how many years he has left.
Yeah, so it says Jake Virtanen signed a 2-year, $5.1 million contract with the Vancouver Canucks, including a $400,000 signing bonus, 5.1 guaranteed, and an annual average salary of 2.5. In 2021, Virtanen will earn a base salary of 1.7 while carrying a cap hit of 2.55. So, I mean, it's a big amount.
He had a pretty nifty goal versus the Montreal Canadiens the other day. So
I know that.
Alessia's like, yes, don't talk about it.
He also had a really nice punch that made us tie the game. So at the end, nice penalty.
Okay, well, you didn't have to fire back with that.
I had to. I'm sorry.
I was just trying.
But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm the same as Alessia. He always comes up, nothing ever happens. So
yeah. And just for the Buffalo Sabres, like they recently fired their head coach, Ralph Kruger, and we've seen how their season has been. So I think firing the coach isn't going to be the whole, like it's not going to be the solution to that problem. I see them making some changes. They've already had one trade already. So we'll see what happens because there's been a whole lot of rumors there too.
Big rumors. Just last week, we spoke about how both Stahl and Hall were open to trades. I feel like everybody's open to trades on that team at that point. I think they all didn't sign up for this. They went to that team thinking that they were going to do a lot better than what they're at now. And I don't, honestly, there's situations where I'm like, stick with it. It's your team. But in this situation, I'm kind of like, it's okay. You can go. You can go to wherever you desire.
Now, my second team, I wouldn't say they're going to be moving the most picks or the most pieces of their team, but it's kind of connected to a question I wanted to ask both of you. Okay. So I put the Toronto Maple Leafs because I feel like they want to contend this year. And Dubas had a press conference recently, and two things stuck out for me: that they wanted to acquire more depth on forward, and that they would be willing to move a top prospect at the trade line to do so. So my question to you guys is, should the Leafs be focusing on adding depth to their offense, because we know they're incredibly talented on forward or for the forward position, or should they be focusing on maybe a top 4 defender or someone for their back end?
So
Like,
you see,
nice thing.
Okay,
Okay.
no, let me, Marjorie's gonna get upset about this.
okay, hold on.
Oh, what have I
okay.
caused?
Okay, no. I'm gonna say my thing very quickly because I want to say something to see how Grace reacts to it.
When you want a
So-
timer, but
So
all
very,
right.
very quick. I don't know if they should be trading for more forwards. There's a reason why Dubas thinks the way he does. Maybe he has a plan. Who knows? We have an abundance of forwards. Personally, I don't know why they want to trade for more forwards, but I'm not the GM and I do not control that. Yes, they should be trading for a top 4 defenseman because that would, I think, really set up the team perfectly. I feel like we won't need anything after that. With respects to the top prospect, I am okay with that. Obviously, they're probably referring to Rasmus Sandin, which Grace is probably not happy with. And that's all I have to say. So that's why I'm going to end it with Rasmus Sandin.
I really hadn't thought about who the top prospect was going to be up until this point. So the fact that you've said it, I'm a little bit blindsided.
What? Did you not
It
really
could-
expect that?
It could potentially be Nick Robertson as well.
That was
He's
that
a
was
top-
my original thought.
Honestly, I don't think it's Nick Robertson. I thought it would. I think it's most likely to be Rasmus Sandin because
But I think Nick Robertson is going to be the one who has the most press and potential, therefore making him the top prospect. Because
Really?
Rasmus Sandin, like everybody made a joke out of him being drafted because it was like, there goes Kyle taking somebody else from the Sioux. Also, everybody who says that, yes, he is, because we're awesome. My mind automatically went to Nick Robertson. So now that I'm seeing the Sandin side
Yeah.
of the story, I'm a little hurt inside. I would have appreciated a longer warning. But
I don't know.
for me, I think it makes sense, like you said, for the defense, because the Leafs defense have been such a problem for so many years. Now that they have some good pieces on the front that they don't have to really worry about, because you don't have to worry about whether your top 3 lines are going to produce points. They're going to. I feel like trading to kind of tighten that defense up would be their best move.
But yes, I'm gonna end it off with my last question for you guys. So this is where I ask you guys the one thing that you guys usually should have one answer for. So I'm hoping you at least give me that. I'm talking to Grace here, not Alessia. So your top trade bait. Grace, go.
Since I'm the disappointment, I'm going to go first so that Alessia can end it off on a high note. Mostly for Marjorie, because I know that everybody else adores my hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, I think my favorite trade bait is probably Taylor Hall from Buffalo. Because it's an $8 million contract for a player who's going to be a UFA this year on a team that isn't doing too swell.
Yeah, insane.
So why not offload that? Grab some picks, grab some cap space. And I'm going to say the word that everybody on the entire planet hates the most: start a rebuild.
Yes, a very long one. But
Yes,
yes,
that would be my top trade bait.
Alessia?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and I'm going with Matthias Ekholm. A lot of teams are like looking to acquire a pretty big top 4 defender, and he's been linked to teams like Montreal before, or at least this season, of course. So 25 games played, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. So I think he's one of the bigger trade baits this year, or at least going into this trade deadline.
Yeah, nice one. That's a good one.
I
I think anybody would want him. Anybody who's smart would want a defenseman like that. Good picks. Good picks. I'm glad Grace has given me something this week.
But before we end, I want to say
Oh.
something.
Okay.
All of our wraparound listeners have to wish Alessia a very happy birthday, because her birthday was last Thursday and we didn't say it last week, which was on my part. But you have to wish it to her now.
Oh,
So
yes.
everybody give her a big old happy birthday on our Twitter or on our Instagram. Do you want more synonyms for thank you for listening?
No.
Because I feel like that
no.
one's getting kind of tired.
No.
Let me look it up.
20. No.
Thanks for your comprehension. We appreciate your flexibility. We appreciate you sticking with us. Thanks for your compassion. We're thankful for your support and understanding, and we appreciate your dedication to digging into this issue.
You sound like a recorded message.
How lovely.
But stay tuned for next week's episode where we talk about the NWHL, maybe talk about some more trade baits, and who knows? So much can happen in a week. So thanks for joining us, and see you next week, or hear you next week.